Okay, you're back. Hopefully you remember that yesterday we talked about our body responding to bacteria and viruses, and we said that there were two different ways that our body did. The first one was the innate response, that's just a response your body has already been programmed with. And so we looked at that a little bit yesterday. You read some information on the first line of defense, which was barriers, and then the second line of defense, which is these two ways. The second way that our body responds to pathogens is the acquired response. This is a response that our body builds as you live. And I mentioned yesterday that there were two different types of white blood cells that we were going to talk about, leukocytes and lymphocytes. Remember that blood cells are also called phagocytes. That's just all of them together are phagocytes. These are the two main groupings of them, leukocytes and lymphocytes. Lymphocytes are the white blood cells that are associated with the acquired response, and that's what we're going to look at today. The acquired response includes a whole bunch of different white blood cells. They're all lumped under the word lymphocytes. They are white blood cells in the lymph fluid. They destroy specific antigens in two different areas, humoral and cellular. What the heck is humoral? Well, humoral and cellular. Hopefully you realize that your cells exist in a fluid, that they are next to each other, that there's space in between cells, that it's not just cell wall or cell membrane touching cell membranes touching cell membrane. There's a lot of other areas in your body. This is called the humoral. The fluid that's outside the cells is called the humoral area. So when I said that the lymphocytes fight pathogens in two different areas, I really meant that they fight pathogens inside the cell and they fight pathogens outside the cell. So the cellular and the humoral response. Humoral being the fluids outside the cell. So let's look at the humoral response first. We have a lymphocyte called B cells. Now, they're not as good as natural-born killers in naming, but they call them B cells because they're formed in the bone marrow. So I guess we'll give them that. B cells are responsible for attacking any type of invaders that have not gotten in your cells yet. They are out in the humoral fluid. Their job? They've got a few. Number one, they like to eat and digest any antigen it finds. Now again, antigen is, we said at the beginning, antigen is anything that causes an immune response. We're going to find that antigens are used a lot by the immune system to target those things that it wants to get rid of. Antigens can be pathogens. Pathogens are things that cause disease. Once the B cell goes around and he finds an antigen and he eats it and he digests it, he's a little bit of a rogue. He actually takes a piece of what he's just shredded apart in eating and he puts one of the things on the surface of himself or herself, I don't know, and displays it. The only thing I can think of every time I teach this part is thinking about seeing old movies where you had, I don't know, guys in helmets and armor fighting against each other, and they'd lop each other's heads off, and then they'd impale the head on a stick to warn everybody that they're bad dudes, so stay away from their castle. That's kind of what I think of when I think of the B cells. But yeah, they take the antigen, they shred it up, and then they put a fragment of it on their surface. That fragment signals another type of cell, conveniently named the T cells. We have the B cells that were formed in the bone marrow, and now we're getting into the T cells. So it lets the T cells know that something's up, and it creates an antibody. So let's talk about that. What is an antibody. An antibody is shaped like a Y. It's a protein that has at the very tips of it little pieces of whatever that B cell just killed, whatever it just destroyed. It takes little pieces of it and attaches it to the ends of these Y-shaped proteins called antibodies. Now, anything that matches that pathogen, anything that matches that antibody, that antigen, excuse me, that antibody will be recognized. The Y-shaped protein will attach to any pathogen matching the bit that's on its ends. So now it's searching around for foreign invaders coming in. And if it matches the antigen that it's carrying, it attaches itself to it. Why? Why would the antibody do it? That's all he does. He just attaches. He matches what the antigen is that he's carrying with whatever pathogen that comes in. Well, when he does that, that is a signal to the roving white blood cells, including the natural-born killers. Anytime they find an antibody, that antibody alerts the immune system that that antigen is present. And of course, being the very calm, quiet, peaceful cells with the name of natural-born killers, the white blood cells destroy what that antibody is marking. Now I mentioned T cells. They got notified by the B cells that something was amiss. T cells, and they're called that because they are developed in the thymus. Remember, B cells were from the bone marrow. T cells are from the thymus. Their job is to destroy and kill any antigens that get inside the cells. So if they've been notified by the B cells that there are antigens about, the T cells are going to be very careful to be looking for signals from the cells, finding out if the cells are invaded. And if the cells are invaded, the T cell will destroy its own cells just to get rid of the cells that have the antigen in them. See, the immune system, they're bad dudes. They go after you. They're ready to keep you healthy. There's one more little phagocyte, and that's the little helper T cell. I suppose he's not little. He has a job. He has a couple jobs. Helper T cells do 3 different things. They rove around, they find, and they dock with any antigen. Now, I told you that I thought of the B cells, and I thought of the castles and the enemy's heads on sticks out in front of the castles. These helper T cells, they remind me of a young brother or sister who wants to make sure you're going to get in trouble no matter what. These helper T cells, they go around, they look for any antigen they find, and they dock on it. They send out a message immediately. Hey, 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 there's one over here, there's one over here, look, 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 look. So they seek and get the T cells and the B cells to get over there to destroy it. But these guys do really, really help, because what they do is they create a thing called a memory cell. And the memory cell not only identifies what kind of antigen your body has fought against, it also identifies how your body took care of it, how it got rid of it. So your body has a record of the antigens that you have fought. Why does this come out very handy? Well, if you know that somebody that's coming up to you, I don't know, has a broken arm, and you know they're coming after you and they're going to hit you, I'd hit them in the broken arm. I mean, you use that knowledge to fight well. Your body uses the knowledge from the memory cells to fight well. And many times we can cause, we'll talk later about immunities of what these memory cells cause. Well, I hope all the pathogens that you meet today are just as strong as these 2 warriors that we see. I have a couple things for you to do. One of them, I have a video for you to watch, and answer a couple questions on. The other thing that I would like you to do, you have a paper called 25 Words to Thrill Your Soul. There are, believe it or not, 25 words on it. What I would like you to do is I would like you to do 1 through 15 on that 25 words to thrill your soul. Do those vocabulary words, watch the video, and have a very good day.